Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, a watch I've long yearned to review here, featured in my hands for the first time in full platinum. This is the Bethune DB25 Perpetual Calendar, salmon dial platinum case. Let's get into it. 44 millimeters in diameter in exquisitely heavy platinum. The watch is only 12.7 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 51 millimeters with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch fits nicely. It is broad though. I would recommend this watch for a wrist of 16 centimeters circumference or larger. If your wrist is smaller, Bethune also makes the 40 millimeter QP with an identical movement. In profile, you can see despite 5 days of power reserve, automatic winding, a perpetual calendar, and a spherical moon phase, this watch will actually fit underneath tight sleeves. Here's the over-the-top shot. Here's the down-the-barrel shot. I've got a little bit of clearance on each side. And here's your distance shot. Strap is high-grade, large rectangular scale alligator leather. Small, round scale, alligator leather on the bottom. The reason double gator is used is because it makes for a admittedly more expensive but longer lasting strap, and a watch like this is worth a few $100s extra. The edge of the strap features a sheer cut. There's a monotone stitch. When you're looking at large symmetrical scale alligator leather, you know you're looking at one of the best cuts of the hide. It's a medium brown. The watch comes with a matching platinum pin buckle from Bethune, polished on the top. The case is entirely polished. Its lugs do feature a little bit of a buttress-like quality as they are open and evacuated. At the tip, you can see the little ogival or torpedo or bullet tip that has been one of the most enduring features of Bethune design. In fact, it's the only surviving design element of the company's first product, the DB1 chronograph of 2002. The rest of the case is all of high polish. The mid case is defined by the overlapping flange of the case back and likewise the bezel. We have a polished, unbranded crown with drilling and knurling on the side. Pusher adjusters for correcting the calendar indications. And so you have pusher adjusters here for the day and the moon phase, and then you have a quick set system for adjusting the date and the month. It is a perpetual calendar, so no need to reset it until the year 2100. Bethune makes its cases, its dials, and its movements in-house, because oftentimes they'll make 3, 4, 5, 6 examples of a model per year, and no supplier wants to hear that you want to order 3 dials or 4 cases. So not only is Bethune able to control the quality of the product, but also build very rare runs of uncommon watches. And all told, Bethune only makes 200 to 300 watches a year. So this salmon dial is an exquisite one. A lot of folks who get into Bethune come in via the DB25 collection, which is what we have here. They find the DB28s maybe a little bit too avant-garde, open dials, floating lugs, Star Trek deltoid barrel bridges. Some people aren't into that, at least not if they're coming from Moser, Moritz Grossman, Kari Voutilainen, the Grunefelds, F.P. Journe. This is the bridge model. That doesn't mean it's an entry-level model. This is a flagship. The dial features 2 separate elements. There's the center dial, which is cut on a rose lathe using traditional guilloche to create that rosette pattern. And then there's a toroidal track outboard with the dark blue printed minute scale and the radially rayed Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4. We have fired blue hands at center, and you can see how they've been rolled and curved to arc up over the edge, as well as the sub-registers. We have little mini toroids for the surround of the moon phase and the pointer-style date. The watch includes a little leap year phase indicator just below the moon, and the moon is actually 3-dimensional. It is a sphere, a hemisphere of white palladium, a hemisphere of blued steel. They're placed together, the same color, then cooked over metal shavings using an oil lamp, and one side, the steel, becomes blue while the inert palladium stays white. You only need to adjust that spherical moon once every 122 years, and that is a Bethune patent. Flipping it all over, you can see another. Bethune, Denis Flageolet, really, the watchmaker who created the brand and is in charge of all engineering and design, he wanted an exceptionally long lever arm with a huge mass on the edge to wind his automatic movements when he launched his first in 2006. And he did that. He created a blued titanium rotor with a mass made of platinum. But because the arms are so long, they can actually twist in a torsional fashion that's not simple rotation. Rotation is fine, but when they start torquing side to side, you can damage the rotor bearing. So Denny created this leaf spring system. You have 4 leaf springs, cantilever springs, to protect the rotor from flexing too much at the center. Each one has 3 ruby jewels to prevent friction when the rotor comes in contact with the spring. You can see that the bridge is a little bit more of a techno-industrial look with media blasted recesses and then satin finished tops. Everything you see here that is blue is fired blue titanium. We have 1, 2, 3 shock protection springs for the balance wheel. That's called triple parachute, and it's patented. The idea is that you can resist the shock and the consequent fracturing of the balance staff pivots. That's for durability, but also to more rapidly recenter the staff pivot in the cup jewel and return to consistent timekeeping. So this triple parachute 1, 2, 3 spring system, it's patented, yes, it's there for chronometry and durability. The balance is blued titanium with white gold masses to place as much of the mass in the rim as possible for chronometric purposes. Also, it has a very small thermal coefficient, so temperature doesn't dramatically change the timekeeping of that balance design, which was patented in 2016. You can see a flat hairspring of a regular shape. It's actually 2 pieces that are shaped by hand and clamped together to breathe concentrically like an overcoil, so keeping good time in every position the way an overcoil will, but it's also flat like a flat hairspring and shock tolerant like a flat hairspring. There's also a silicon escape wheel of de Bethune's own design that reduces friction and reduces the need for service. Taking a close look, you can see black polished screw heads, a media blasted base plate. We have a satination on the triple parachute shock protection springs, which are also beveled on their sides. So while at first glance it looks very industrial, very tech-oriented, it is also very traditional and beautifully finished. Now it's got a 5-day power reserve courtesy of twin self-adjusting mainspring barrels, and all of this is water resistant down to 30 meters, so the tech specs are quite impressive. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.